Well, good evening, gentlemen. I was thinking about a few things. Got off work, just kind of piddling around, about to start dinner. And a couple things I was thinking about. I noticed they had taken all the hay out of the barn. And there's no more hay in the barn. And, I like to relate things to life a lot. And while I was thinking about, why they moved the hay out of the barn, I was like, well, they had to move it out to feed the cows, of course. And, the hay was perfectly good in the barn. It was good hay. It had a lot of worth in the barn. It's worth a lot of money sitting in the barn. But in order to get use out of what they had put up, they then have to move it and do something with it. Something's only useful when it's used. And I wanted to encourage you guys to think about that. There's a lot of times where we'll gather something, whether that be something physical, that we fix up an old car, or maybe we build a house like I'm doing right now. Maybe we're working hard for something, or it could be thoughts that we put into our head, ideas, things like that. Maybe ideas for a new career, ideas for writing a book or something like that, anything like that. But we have these thoughts, these ideas, and they're only as good as how much we use them. We can do the work. We can fix up the car. We could have ideas for the book and come up with ideas in our head. Or in this case, we could work hard during the summer, cut all the hay, rake it all up, bale it up, put it in the barn. But unless that hay is used, it's of no use to us. And I feel like sometimes we do that. And I know I've done that in my life. I've worked really hard for something, and then the time comes to use it, to apply it, and I don't. I decide that I don't want to because I'm proud of what I did. I wanted to hold on to that. I've done that with a vehicle in the past where I fixed up a vehicle and then you don't want to drive it because you don't want to ruin it. Well, what use is a vehicle if you're not going to drive it? Or in this case, you do all this work to put all this hay up, but if you don't feed your cows with it or if you don't sell it, it's of no use to you sitting in the barn. All it's doing is taking up space. And you worked really hard for that, and you hate to see it go because you might have to work hard again to get it back. But you know what? It has a use, and it needs to be used. So I wanted to encourage you guys to think about those areas in your life. Think about those areas where you have things that you've worked really hard for that are maybe sitting idle. It could be thoughts in your head, like I said, to write a book or write a song. Could be an idea to start a business. Could be an idea to build something. You could have built something or worked really hard for something, and it's just sitting there, and it's of no use. And we do that a lot in our lives. And I think about my faith a lot, and the fact that I worked really hard to learn more about Christianity. But unless I apply that to my life, it's of no use to anyone else, and definitely no use to me. I have to apply everything I know in order for me to receive something out of it. It could be joy out of what I'm working so hard for, just applying it to my life. And that's about all I have to say about this one. It was a pretty short video, just something I was thinking of. I did want to leave you guys with this, a little thought. There's a verse. There's a verse in Proverbs. I think it's Proverbs 4:23, verse 23, I believe it is. And if I can keep my pipe lit here, I'll tell you about the verse. Give me a second. For all you guys wondering, Today I'm smoking Maltese Falcon. It's a new blend to me, but I've really grown to love it. I bought a 8-ounce container of it, and it's honestly, it might be my everyday smoke. It's a good smoke. But I don't know where I got this pipe, but I do know where I got it. I got it in Kansas City at a big cigar lounge there. I bought a pipe, and it's a nice pipe, but I can't remember what it is, what the name of it is. I know it's from Italy. Other than that, that's about it. But besides that, it's Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. It says to be careful what you think. I'm paraphrasing that, of course. But your thoughts can lead to destruction. Your thoughts can steer you weary. And I wanted you to kind of think about that, because I've been pondering that all day. I've been thinking about how can what I think lead me to destruction? How can what I'm thinking not be good for me? What bad does thinking do? And I was thinking about it, ironically, and sometimes we get to stewing over things. Something bad happens at work, or something happens, at home or whatever, or we get a bad taste in our mouth, and we kind of stew on it, and we get to thinking, and sometimes those thoughts can lead to actions, and that's where it starts to get scary, is we need to be careful what we're thinking, because when we start thinking negative things, it rolls over into our actual physical lives. Sometimes we think, thoughts don't matter, but if you're thinking about a particular thing, let's say you're standing in line at the grocery store and all you can think about is stealing that candy bar. Eventually, maybe not that time, but if all you're thinking about is stealing that candy bar, eventually you're going to steal that candy bar. Or if you get in a fight at work and all you're thinking about is, man, I hate this job, I hate this job, I hate this job, eventually you're going to hate that job. So you need to be really mindful about what you think, because your thoughts have power, just like your words have power. The Bible says that there's power in your words, and Proverbs says there's power in your thoughts. Be very careful what you're thinking. Like I said, that's Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Proverbs is my favorite book of the Bible, like I've said multiple times. And I love just reading it and quoting it, and I try and memorize as much as I can from it. But if you guys have a favorite Proverbs verse, drop it down in the comments. I love hearing you guys' comments on it. If you've watched this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you later.